Calabrese has written such a wonderful portrait of an area, really, that she grew up in Italy. I am really yearning to go to Italy, and I know that I have some family roots there. But listening to her family stories and her memoir, it just amplified that, and I think a lot of people can appreciate that. The name of her book is The Most Beautiful Rose, Memoir of an Italian Immigrant's Extraordinary Childhood. Domenica, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
So paint that picture for us. Make us all envious. Tell us about the village that you grew up in.
It was a little small village, a farm village, really, and it was maybe 20 families, and we were all happy and free of doing whatever we want. We had our, fresh food from our, gardens and everything like that. It was just wonderful. It was wonderful. Yeah, we have no lights, we have no radios, no TV, but we were happy. Playing and, in the fields, with no shoes on, us kids were so very happy. There was it was just love, full of love. Everybody loved each other, they helped each other. It was beautiful.
Yeah, I like what you described there when you're saying it was just beautiful, because what you described for people listening is simplicity that we don't know, most of us, where you're talking about we were running around barefoot, there were 7 children.
Yeah.
You didn't think there was a lack of anything because you felt that overwhelming love, and everybody just pitched in and helped and did whatever they had to do in this rural, old town Italy, right?
Right. We have a wonderful parents. Of course, our parents were wonderful. They did everything for us. We had everything that we could possibly have. It's just that we didn't have the things that we have today, but we were very happy.
Yeah, and you know what you said to me that I thought was so interesting, because Domenica and I had a great conversation off the air. You were telling me that you just weren't fearful of anything, that, at age 6, boom, you jumped on the back of a horse, you had to go do something. You just did it at 6, right?
Did, yeah. And I had no fears. Nope.
And do you think that's because there was lots of kids, lots of love, lots of that whole flavor of what many of us picture in our minds when we talk about places like Italy and small towns and villages?
Oh, definitely, yes.
So you wrote this mostly at first for your kids, but I love the cover, The Most Beautiful Rose. Why did you pick that? Why did you pick that name?
I was very close with my mom, and one day we were doing something, and I just had to ask her, I said, where did you find me? And, she didn't know what to say, because there was no birds and bees those days. So she said, well, I went in the garden one morning, and there was this beautiful rose. It was wide open, and then you were in it, and I took you home. So that was, I thought it was beautiful.
And so you had that life, and like many other people, sadly, and we understand this, the hills and valleys, whatever you want to call it, of life. When you're 14, your mother dies. What happens to the family then?
Oh, I ended up in the orphanage because my father had so many kids, and he had to work, and so there was a priest that knew my parents very well. So he came to my father and asked him to send me to the orphanage that he was owning,
Yeah.
And my father was not too happy about it, because he wants his children close by. And then he decided, I think it's the best thing to do. And I went. I was not happy, I have to say. I was the kind of kid that I want to stay close to home. But I did. I went, and there was my best friend there and everything. But 2.5 years after, my sister got married, the older one. And so I had to go back home to be a mother to my little siblings at 13 years old.
Wow. You do that, and then you come to America. What was that like emigrating to America? What do you remember?
Oh, my God, it was the worst nightmare. I'm sorry that I have to say that, not because of America, but like I said before, I didn't even want to go to an orphanage. I didn't want to leave my town. I didn't want to leave my friends. And but I had to come because I was minor. And I came over here, and my cousins, we used to be very close to Italy. They changed, they were teenagers, and they spoke in English, which I didn't know one word of it. It was tough, very tough. But I got through it,
You got through it, and now you live in Connecticut, and you have a family of your own. And what do the kids think when you tell them this story?
I tell you, they loved everyone had, they used to have, they used to ask me questions, Ma, where you were born, what would you do, but I took them many times to Italy, so they know where I was born. And they were amazed, Ma. They used to say, Ma, this is beautiful. I wish we lived here, this. No phone, no cars, they were amazed. But what a peaceful town, Which still is today, but unfortunately there's a lot of what we have here now, cell phones, computers, cars, but still it's a beautiful town.
Yeah, I think there's a lesson in this about simplicity, which I was hinting at or saying in the very beginning of this, that we even your kids see this, that we secretly all yearn for that. Tell us about the village, the name of the village, and what the actual village was like. It was small.
My village where I was born?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's still in my heart. If I would have to go back to Italy again, which is not going to happen, but to stay, that's what I will go back. I'll go back to my little village and rebuild a house, which there's no houses there anymore. It's just a beautiful fountain with spring water it's amazing. We used to wash our clothes in the back of the fountain, and in the front, the animals will drink the water at night before they go back to the barn. I mean, it was just, I don't know how to explain it. It was so beautiful.
It sounds like a movie. It sounds like a movie. Yeah. I want to come to your house, though, and eat, because I know you can cook. I bet you make some mean lasagna and raviolis, right?
Yes. Yep. It's in my house, we eat Italian.
Of course you eat Italian. I definitely. I'm going to knock on your door one day, and hopefully you'll have a lasagna.
That would be beautiful. I would love to have you, of course. Yeah.
And then you can share some more of these stories. What do you hope people take away from reading your book? Because then people outside your family and people who know you who read The Most Beautiful Rose, what do you hope they take away from reading it?
I don't know. I just, I'm talking to, I say my life the way it was. And I also think that, when I mentioned being an orphan, that's what I always thought. That's always in my mind. Maybe it could help a lot of little kids, the orphan kids, life goes on. Even so you lost your mom or your dad, whatever it is. They're always watching us. Never give up. Be happy. So they'll be happy. You know what I mean? I'm very Catholic. I believe there is heaven. I mean, and if you believe in that, things come easier. You know what I mean? It's been so many years that I lost my mom, and she's still in my heart every single day. But I have to go. I have to do what I got to do, and I pray, and that's how I go on. My faith is very strong, like my mom. And I think that, the orphans kids will get something, beautiful from my experience.
Right, that you can get through it and hang on to some of those good memories and feel that peace in your heart. Domenica Calabrese, again, the name of the book is The Most Beautiful Rose, Memoir of an Italian Immigrant's Extraordinary Childhood. I want to go back to that village. I want to go there. Thank you so much.
Can I have just one thing?
Sure.
I I'd like to thank you, the staff of the ReadersMagnet that published my book. They were very wonderful. Thank you very much to everyone. Thank you to you. And, like I said, everyone, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Domenica. Thank you for coming on, and thanks to all of you for listening to this version of the show.